Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm Taylor, and joining me today for this deep dive into colonial history is Sam.
It's great to be here. We're tackling a really significant figure today, Robert Clive. Quite controversial, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You really can't talk about the beginnings of the British Raj without getting into Clive of India. And our mission today, well, it's more than just listing battles. We want to understand that crucial shift he brought about, how the East India Company went from, just a trading company
A commercial venture, basically.
into this dominant military and political force.
Right.
It fundamentally changed everything for the subcontinent.
That transformation is exactly it. And for you listening, the core question is, how did this, restless, kind of troublesome young guy end up laying the groundwork for almost 200 years of colonial rule?
Yeah.
We're going to track how strategy, sheer nerve, and some pretty ruthless political moves made it happen.
Let's start right at the beginning, because his early life really tells you something. Robert Clive, born 1725, Shropshire, England. The sources. They paint a picture of someone who just didn't fit in.
No, not at all. Volatile, energetic, definitely not suited for quiet village life. They called him Mad Clive.
Mad Clive tells you a lot. There's that story, isn't there, about him climbing the church roof?
Yeah, the church spire. And apparently he wouldn't come down until they bribed him. With food, I think.
Right. It shows that risk-taking streak, even as a kid. And maybe a certain stubbornness.
Definitely. Reckless, determined. That combination seems to follow him throughout his life.
Which makes his next step almost predictable, in hindsight. Shipped off to India, 1744. He's only 19. A clerk for the East India Company.
Imagine that personality stuck behind a desk doing paperwork.
Terrible fit. Boredom, poverty.
Oh.
Sound like a recipe for disaster. Or, well, for change.
And change it was. He saw the chaos, the potential maybe, in the company's small private army, so he ditched the clerk job.
He just quit.
Pretty much. He wrangled a commission, became an officer, and that decision, moving from accounts to the army, that's the first big pivot. Not just for him, but for India, really.
And the timing. Mid-18th century India is volatile. The Mughal Empire's fading.
Exactly. There's a power vacuum. And the British and French are constantly scrambling, backing different local rulers, fighting proxy wars, the Carnatic Wars.
Perfect place for an ambitious, maybe slightly unhinged young officer to make a name for himself.
Precisely. It was all about picking sides, proving your worth, and Clive needed that stage. He found it in 1751 at the Siege of Arcot.
Arcot. This is where he goes from being just another officer to something else.
This is where Mad Clive starts looking like a military strategist. It really establishes his reputation for boldness and unshakable nerves, as they say.
So set the scene at Arcot. What was the situation? It sounds almost unbelievable.
Well, the French were backing their guy for control of the region. His forces were besieging a key city. Clive's idea was audacious. Instead of defending, attack their capital, Arcot.
He seized Arcot Fort.
Yeah, relatively easily at first, but then the main enemy army, something like 10,000 strong, turned around and besieged him in the fort.
And Clive had how many men?
Just 200 men, maybe 80 Europeans among them, against 10,000. The odds were ridiculous.
It just sounds impossible.
Yeah.
How did he hold out? What was the trick?
53 days. It was brutal. The sources point to two things. Discipline, absolute discipline, and psychology. He kept morale up, shared scarce resources equally between Indian sepoys and Europeans, which built loyalty. But crucially, his sheer refusal to surrender day after day just seemed to break the attacker's will. They expected him to fold. He didn't.
So the psychological impact was huge, this unlikely win. And it made him a hero back home, right? And changed how people saw the EIC's army.
Absolutely. It showed the British could and would fight desperately and win against the odds. It put everyone on notice, the French, the Indian rulers. This wasn't just a trading company anymore.
That reputation for daring. It paved the way for even bigger things, didn't it? Arcot showed he could win battles. Plassey showed he understood power required, well, darker arts.
Yes. Betrayal, money. The tools of empire building, perhaps.
Which brings us to Bengal. This wasn't just another province. This was the big prize.
Oh, absolutely. Bengal was the economic engine of Mughal India. Hugely wealthy. Textiles, saltpeter for gunpowder, massive tax revenues. Controlling Bengal meant controlling immense financial power.
And the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaula, he wasn't happy with the company, was he?
Not at all. He saw them abusing their trading rights, avoiding taxes, and crucially, building fortifications in Calcutta without permission. He wanted to put his foot down.
Things escalated. But Clive knew a straight fight against the Nawab's huge army was risky, so he shifted tactics.
Completely. He went into political warfare mode, bribery, secret negotiations, playing on rivalries within the Nawab's court. This is where Clive, the politician, the manipulator, really emerges.
And the key figure in this intrigue,
Mir Jafar, Siraj-ud-Dowlah's commander-in-chief.
the commander himself. Why would he betray his ruler?
Ambition. Feeling overlooked. Maybe fear? Clive saw an opportunity and offered him the ultimate prize. The throne of Bengal itself, plus, vast riches if he'd stand aside during the battle.
Stand aside or actively help?
Well, ensure his large part of the army did nothing, basically. Neutralize the Nawab's main strength from within.
So, the Battle of Plassey, June 23rd, 1757. It sounds less like a battle and more like theater.
In many ways it was. Clive had maybe 3,000 troops. Siraj had around 50,000 on paper. But when the battle started, large sections of the Nawab's army, under Mir Jafar and other conspirators, just didn't engage, held back. Some accounts say there was even confusion sown deliberately.
So it was over quickly.
Very quickly. A decisive British victory, but achieved almost entirely through treachery, not military might alone. Siraj fled, was later captured and killed.
And Mir Jafar got his reward.
He was installed as the new Nawab, yes, a puppet ruler. But the real power, the de facto control of Bengal, now rested firmly with the East India Company. Plassey wasn't just a battle win, it was a political coup.
And the immediate result was money, lots of it. The loot of Bengal, as some call it.
An incredible amount. Huge sums were paid out to the company, to Clive personally, to other officers. Trade privileges expanded massively. Clive returned Sikden fabulously wealthy, bought himself a seat in Parliament, got a title, Baron Clive of Plassey.
Where did all that Bengal money go, besides Clive's pockets?
It flowed back to Britain. It helped fund Britain's wars, like the 7 Years' War against France happening at the time. It boosted the British economy, arguably fueling the Industrial Revolution.
Buffett.
The extraction was so intense, so focused on profit over governance, that many historians link it directly to the horrific Bengal famine of 1770, just a few years later. Millions died. The company's administration, or lack thereof, played a terrible role.
So Clive wasn't just a general. He came back as an administrator too, didn't he?
Yeah.
He tried to shape the company's control.
He did. On his later returns to India, he reorganized the company's army, introducing stricter discipline, more European-style training, made it even more effective.
But his main administrative innovation? That sounds quite cunning. The dual system?
Ah, yes. The dual system in Bengal. This was, well, politically brilliant in a very cynical way. Clive knew ruling Bengal directly would be costly, complicated, attract too much attention back home.
So he found a workaround.
Exactly. The company took over the Diwani, the right to collect all the revenue, all the taxes, the money part.
Okay.
But they left the Nizamat, the actual day-to-day administration, law and order, justice nominally, with the Nawab, Mir Jafar's successor.
So the Indian ruler was still the face, dealing with the problems.
Well, the company raked in the cash behind the scenes. Power without responsibility. It was a way to mask the true extent of their control. Very clever, very effective for the company's bottom line.
But all that wealth, especially his personal fortune, eventually caused problems back in Britain.
Oh, yes. Huge controversy. Questions were asked in Parliament. How did this company man get so incredibly rich? Accusations of corruption, extortion, plunder.
So he was actually investigated, put on trial.
Summoned before a parliamentary committee, yes. It was a major scandal. It highlighted the sheer scale of wealth extraction from India and raised alarms about the company's unchecked power. Many in Parliament were jealous, of course, but there were genuine concerns, too.
And this is where we get that incredibly arrogant quote from him.
That's the one. Defending himself, faced with the enormous sums he did bring back, he basically said, given the treasures laid at his feet in India, he was shocked he hadn't taken even more.
By God, Mr. Chairman, at this moment, I stand astonished at my own moderation.
Exactly. Utterly shameless, really. But it captured his self-belief, his feeling that normal rules didn't apply.
Did they find him guilty?
Technically, no. He was formally exonerated, his services to the nation acknowledged, but the whole affair damaged his reputation and forced Parliament to start thinking about regulating the company more closely. The era of freewheeling plunder was beginning to face scrutiny.
So when Clive finally left India for good in 1767, what was the situation he left behind?
The transformation was complete. The East India Company wasn't just trading anymore. It was a territorial power, effectively ruling Bengal with a formidable army and setting the stage for further expansion. He had opened the door wide for the British Empire in India.
It really forces you, the listener, to see him from two sides, doesn't it?
Absolutely. For Britain at the time, he was the empire builder, the hero who secured unimaginable wealth and prestige.
But from an Indian perspective,
He's the architect of colonization, the man whose actions led directly to economic drain, political subjugation, the loss of sovereignty. His legacy is deeply contested, and understandably so.
so the real takeaway isn't just about battles like Arcot or Plassey.
No, it's about how trade, ambition, political maneuvering, and, frankly, greed rewrote the destiny of a subcontinent. It shows how empires can be built not just with armies, but with bribes, betrayals, and exploiting instability.
That ability to see and seize moments of weakness, that seems key to his success.
That's a powerful truth. Clive was a master opportunist, operating in a complex environment, and he used every tool, fair or foul, to advance the company's interests and his own.
Which leaves us with a final thought, something for you to really chew on. How much of today's global economic landscape, the power dynamics we still see, might have roots in that same kind of strategic exploitation of local weaknesses that Clive perfected back then? It's a sobering connection to consider.
A really fascinating and important question to carry forward.
And if you decide to travel to India, we have a recommendation. Five Senses Tours organizes tours across India, which are immersive cultural experiences. You can email contact@fivesenstours.com or WhatsApp to +919 845 67446.